Thought I'd make a video and talk about a few things. I haven't been really catching up on these videos. I don't know who has time to watch these videos and maybe make edits, just snippet edits, and then repost them to whoever can see them, celebrities, whatever bullshit. As I get older, at 41 years old, I just don't give a shit so much of what people say. Like, because when you're young and you listen to you hear these people with like 500 million views, and I don't know if this had anything to do, but I'm sure it did. The fact that I met Michael Jackson, and it's like I already. I was already thrown off the mountain a long time ago, and the Patricia situation, and it just really isn't. And also because I DJed in front of people, and that's kind of what you do. It's not very glamorous. It's more you can see the ideas of people just trying to put each other together properly and healthy for a nation. And that's really just what it's about. But depending on, everybody has sort of a different story. It's not very glamorous, and they have professional psychologists dissecting the situation. But I was thinking of some other things that were much more important about this. And Alex Cooper, who is doing all these interviews, and Jimmy Fallon, I was thinking of this for a very long time. And she brought it up, like she's, which I always honor people that do that, is for women to be very spoken, to have opportunities, because they're very deprived in education. And like real women, I'm talking about women that have babies, and women that are natural born females with breasts and tits and pussy, okay, and for them to have talents and seem a better platform for the future. And it's something that in my life, if I ever became wealthy, it was probably the number one project that I will work, because I first-handedly saw this with my mother. I saw both hemispheres of the world. One where my father was with a bachelor's degree, which was like an impossible degree to get during that time. And my mother asking me, how do you read this and how do you read that? And I would come home from second grade. My mother didn't know how to help me. She would just point over to my father, go to your dad, he's really good at that stuff. And I remember wanting my mother to read books, like read a book to me, and she couldn't. And she felt very uncomfortable. I would bring home first grade books from first grade after meeting Michael Jackson. And, a lot of white people know what this story is, but Mexican people don't get this sort of story where their father or mother would lean over their bed before they put their child to sleep and read a child's book to them before they go to bed. My mother couldn't do that to me. And because she didn't know how to read, even whenever I would ask her, she would feel very uncomfortable, and she would feel very ashamed, because she was very poorly educated and couldn't do anything about it, and very vulnerable. And I saw at the highest level the vulnerability of what knowledge to a female, what it did. And still doing to this day. Barack Obama ripping my mother's ass in half, and then psychology again, and women have a different point of view. And it's something that I definitely would pursue, to do something like that in my life, to make something where heterosexual females, and this is not hate crimes against the transgenders or what the fuck they did in President Barack Obama's transgender movement. It's just something that I would do to help women, natural born female women, have a better platform, and that they have brains, not just a pussy hole could be sold for sex for. Their characters and minds could be more open as for men, because it would help the future and it would help the ability to be more balanced, because everything is filled with homosexuality and all. That's all that's fucking there. When they put one female on there that's real famous, that's because they got 4,000 faggots running around running the whole goddamn fucking thing, and then there's no straight men at all. Very few, very weak, very small, they think they're confident out. You don't run shit. And it's the pretend, I'm gay, and you'll never know whether they're gay or straight, but you'll think they're straight and they're not. And they go back in their living closet and they die that way. But it just doesn't work that way. It's not hate crimes, it's the functionality of a male's brain, of survival, and women and vagina, and what that does to a guy whenever you're single. And what does that to a person that is with a female, and how the reality of the relationships and era world that we live in, the natures of the survival world are very deprived and in the favor of talent, of homosexuality, and even transgenders. Not straight men. Authentic, purebred, straight men from the very beginning, in and out. Not fucking gay faggots or transgenders, and very few, and it's just like little petty stools, and who knows? Because, like I said, I think it would add a beautiful balance, healthy balance, just to have the women around that are talented, educated, and smart. But the reason I think any of this stuff is going on, I think primarily is just breeding grounds. You don't want to lose your sauce. And you don't want to lose any blue eyes and blonde hair, because that will be extinct if you don't protect it. You will lose that if you don't protect it. And that's what most people want. And they continue to do that. And they purchase it and they buy it and they do what the fuck they want. And if you do that in large numbers, you're taking them down very quickly. And that's including my race as well. My eyes, eye color, and hair color will exterminate and make everything beige. So only the combination, it would slow things down, not as like a black person, but the combination of colors, of requirements, the promotions of political power, and all this other bullshit. So they know what they're doing. They're not going to talk. They know how to talk. More flowers than anything else bullshit. But anyway, it's something that I would definitely admire very much, is to, whether it's a school or like it's a foundation or something that opens the talent doors only for women, like specifically girls, only real females. But I don't know if that is allowed in the United States because of the political, they got all these transgenders moving from here to there and whatever bullshit's going on. But it's something, it's something that I think is very important, because I watch these interviews, and all this other shit, and it's entertaining. It's entertaining to the extent of like, oh wow, you kind of think you have hope, but they really, you think that people care, and it's very minimalized of what you think of what they give a fuck about your life. Very minimal, very, very little, and especially in my circumstances of what details and things they remember and what they know is a totally guess to me, for whatever reason it is, but it doesn't change the fact of the circumstances of the background and friends and family that I actually come from, and what that success is at my age, and because then I have to understand that I'm then become nothing more than a sacrificial lamb, and that's all I am to these people. So you think people really give a shit, you think they care about you, and they're a celebrity, and they're talking about you, and some of them do, and every single one of them are strictly females. But when you have that, it's very entertaining, but they really can't do anything, because there are other people that are so much in control of what they did. And regardless, it isn't going to change anything. It doesn't change the fact that it's, circumstances. You think people care, and life moves on very fast. Their success has already been done, and you know, you do get some emotional pickings here and there. It's nice to hear that every once in a while, but you know, it's you know, I think it's great, but you know, this world is focused, especially the U.S. The U.S. is just primarily focused on superior. The governments and the White House for supremacy. Now focus on human life, supremacy. If you have to kill this person and kill that person that's innocent to make it more better and make it look like an accident, that's what you're going to do, because that's how the forward momentum goes for the future. That's the way it is. It's not about any of this, oh, you're scared of God. They don't give a fuck. They got their tickets to heaven already. They don't give, and they're proud to die that way. And they have already mapped out everything, every fucking thing. Who lives and who dies. Who to rape, who not to rape, who to let off the hook because they have too much power, or feel sorry for this person because of, you know, whatever reason. And they already got it mapped out. It's not coincidence. Oh, everything's, they're too smart. Everything. You do not stay at the top of the food chain unless you behave that way. Otherwise, they will take you down. And, you know, for some level of respect, I have respect for that, but not when you're, you know, that shitty number. And, so, but anyway, I watch this and I'm thinking to myself, like, oh wow, you know, so many years ago I thought, you know, I'm sleeping underneath their bridge, and you hear these fucking celebrities, but it makes you think that they're actually talking about details and stuff about your life, and you're like, I'm fucking eating ramen and noodles and fucking underneath a bridge, and you're like, oh wow, you know, but anyways, it's still entertaining. It's still some shows, some care, but it's the reality of it, you know. You can't get, I don't get shy to hook up all this. Never really did, because of the humility of disgrace and shit and other problems that were going on. Because what they did, I think, is they got all the heterosexual females, all of them, and they moved them to a different city, a part of when they were building houses and all this other shit to start new colonies. Because the transgenders were having trouble, started having jobs, and you had to start, because it's a different breed. You do not make babies in this world. That's the reality of it. You would live in this world just picking and packing whatever the fuck you want. And you only rely on that family idea, and which out of them that are always helping only each other, and because of whatever survival technique, like Hollywood, you take everything. And that's how straight men like me and females like my mother ended up being ripped up, you know, to shreds, and for president power, and then make excuses for it. They know, you know, they don't give a goddamn fuck. They got everything mapped out. God is not going to show up in a chariot and strike Michelle Obama and his daughters and whatever fuck, because whatever pissed off situation. It doesn't happen. God is not bigger than that. God is not bigger than anything. He's not going to roll around. Jesus is not going to say, motherfucker, for what you did, you know, okay, you want to play, people are burning and dying to death all over around the world. It just doesn't happen that way. And you have to sort of have to respect the situation, because that's how it is. You know, ain't nothing you can do about it. But I think it's important, you know, in the discussion of this, it's the darkest psychology. I could never phantom anything so dark of psychology. You know, when you're dead, you're dead. They still get their chances to figure out how they go to heaven and paradise and what that perception is and all this other shit. It's all brain function, all bullshit, brain function of the heart, the electronic, everything's figured out. But you're guaranteed death. Whether it feels like an eternity, and it does feel like an eternity, or it's fast, or it's in between, or average, you will die. You will be deceased. but your history about what happened here apparently affects everything in the future, if it does, if there is. But would you rather have a good time the way you choose or not, and then get shitted out of this world? But, you know, it sucks because there are people out there that really did believe, and like a dumbass got blown away in little pieces out in fucking Iraq for, you know, for my niggas, you know, Keynote and, you know, Barack Obama, and, you know, and the transgender movement, you know, and the gays and excuses, and, you know, especially for Ken Cooper, you know, because he's stepping over dead bodies over at the funeral home, huh? But anyway, yeah, so I thought I'd talk about a few things, and it's something I definitely would do. For a long time, very, and people they probably think it's all entirely attached to that, but no, it's deeper than that. It's way, yeah, for sure. And it would be only heterosexual females. This is not a transgender to open doors and platforms for to be more womanly, almost like the influence from Akianek America when I saw this person at McDonald's. Very influenced by that type of personality. Like, wow, this person really, you know, really has a stand-up, professional. You know, females are worth more than just opening their legs. You know, and but yeah. Anyway, thought I'd make a video on that.